Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 27th Orators in the Cloud Toastmasters meeting. Today's theme is to travel is to live. Now, some of us travel for fun, some of us do it for the relaxation, and some of us do it for the experience, and some of us just do it just to have the digital detoxing effect. However, did you guys also know that travel is the best medicine? Quite literally, though not during the current times. In a study conducted by Global Commission on Aging and US Travel Association, it was found that travel decreased risks of heart attack and depression and even promoted brain health. Now, in today's session of Toastmasters, let's find out what traveling means to some of us, what traveling has taught us, and also share some of our best travel experiences. Now, before we get started, let's remind ourselves of few basic rules to keep in mind. Firstly, keep yourself on mute when you're not speaking. Secondly, refrain from using mobile. And finally, refrain from speaking on taboo topics such as sex, politics, and religion. Having said this, I would request our presiding officer, Abhijit, to take over.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rahul. It had been 10 days since we had seen a metalled road while traveling through this vast cold desert. So the very next day, when the rubber met the tar road, which indicated that we wouldn't have to endure these days of bumpiness at the back of this DCM Toyota truck, all of us in an impromptu fashion broke into hooting and screaming with joy. This moment was very short-lived though, because at the very next turn, there was a sudden flash flood that washed away the part of the road that was at 4,400 feet, almost the half of the 4,400 meters, rather, almost at the half of the height of Mount Everest. Well, the cadets were instructed by my father and another officer to go on the other side of this temporary waterfall, which was gushing down into a deep valley, and hold it from both ends, and one by one make sure all the motorbikes that the cadets were riding on were taken from one place to another. Thankfully for us, at the back of the truck, the Indian Army sent their truck to transport the families of the officers and the ration. And not only just that, they really welcomed us in a very warm way as we spent the night in that high altitude army camp. The air at that altitude was very thin, but I very fondly remember that the joy that I was feeling as a 10-year-old child was very dense. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I'm sure all of us are raring to hear each other's travel adventures and exciting stories that we have been able to collect over time, courtesy our time outside the house. Before introducing the tour guide or the main conductor for the show today, I would like to quickly welcome a few guests that have joined us. We have a special guest joining us again, as this time as a speaker, Toastmaster Madhu. Hi, welcome to our club. I would straight away just go forward and come back to you at the end of the meeting for your feedback. But we also have Toastmaster Kiran, who's joined us from ANZ. Toastmaster Kiran, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Hi there, Toastmaster Abhijit. It's Toastmaster Kiran from ANZ. So Madhu, Toastmaster Madhu is my mentor. So I just came to grab on some few points so I can use it in my future speeches.
Okay, very welcome. Hopefully you stay through the session, and we'll come back to you for your feedback at the end. All right, without further ado, please join me in welcoming the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Shreya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. Good evening to one and all, and welcome to this meeting. Today's theme, to travel is to live. The reason behind this theme, I know that not everyone agrees with this. There are a lot of people who don't really generally like to travel, but in today's circumstances where we are glued to our laptops and stuck in our homes, The need to escape out is stronger than ever. So, in such a situation, when we really want to go out but we cannot, what's the next best thing we can do? I thought, let's talk about it and hope that it is some sort of therapy to all of us. And all of you here, can you guess the average number of flyers in the year 2019 alone? The number of people that have flown in the past year. Take a wild guess.
Billion?
100 million?
There have been close to 5 billion flyers in the year 2019. That means there's at least around 400 million flyers per month. This is a number that is so difficult for us to fathom. But it is clear that we're obsessed with traveling. If any of us think that this is a recent trend that we just love to explore right now, then let me tell you that we're very wrong to make that assumption. Our ancestors, the Neanderthals, traveled from Africa to Europe to Asia by foot. And this was 1.8 billion years ago. So our obsession to explore new places, this has been in our genes even before we as Homo sapiens were born. Today, let's find out from people of our own as to why we are so enchanted by this magic of traveling. Ever since I was a child, I was obsessed with the ocean. I'm from Mangalore, so it's a coastal region, and I guess nobody would be surprised by that fact. Why do the waves keep coming only in this direction? Why doesn't it go that way? Why don't they ever stop? Don't they ever get tired? Where is the sea ending? It just keeps going on and on. These were the questions that constantly badgered me as a kid. So for me, I'm sure this is the case for a lot of the South Indians, right? Because we're kind of surrounded by the ocean. So for me, it's a little difficult to imagine a person who has not gone through this or who has not seen a beach in their childhood. But this next person that I'm going to call here almost falls into this category. He says that he first visited the mountains when he was barely 3 years old. And since then, he has gone to a lot of mountains, had a lot of great experiences. He has a very deep connection with them. But the first time that he ever saw a sea for real or a beach was when he was a teenager. He says that he had imagined it in his mind how it would be. Even then, when he smelled that first oceanic breeze and saw the waves coming for the first time, he says he was enchanted. He was so mesmerized, nothing close to how he had imagined it would be. To tell us more about his travel experiences and his role today, let's call upon the general evaluator, Toastmaster Hind.
Thank you, Shreya. I gave you a number of answers. You only used one of mine. Why did you ask so many questions? My first question. Just kidding. Yes, beaches and oceans, they hold a special place in my heart because I have had much lesser of them than I had of mountains. This is a question that I often like to ask people, beaches or mountains, because apparently people fall in one or the other zone. But I love mountains in the morning, beaches in the evening. And for those who have spent very early mornings in the mountains and very magical evenings surrounded by as less number of people as possible, you would know what I'm talking about. The thing with traveling is generally associated with a person going from one place to another, maybe on foot, maybe in a vehicle or something. But as I understand, traveling happens every day. You're traveling through your life. Traveling happens in every act that you do. People who will be giving their speeches today or in future meetings, they will be traveling through their speech, through their journey of Toastmaster. That's why traveling literally is so exciting, because we like to live. Life is exciting, or I would like to believe so. But do tell me, it would be boring if you go to the same place over and over again, right? I guess people would agree with me. If you do, kind of a thumbs up will be good. Okay, so traveling to the same place would be boring. In the similar sense, making the same mistakes, doing the same kind of speeches would be boring, right? Delivering the same kind of speeches would be boring. That is exactly why we are here, so that you don't do that. So that at the end of the meeting, when you take feedback from us, that it becomes a part of you, and that the next time you go on this journey, it is different. Joining me in evaluating all the speakers of the meeting would be the tag team, Timer, AhCounter, Grammarian. Timer for today is one of a kind, and I can promise you she is one of a kind. How many people in this virtual room right now love traveling or like going to places? I am guessing Harini and Sreelekha are also raising their virtual hands.
Yes.
But this person, timer of our meeting today, does not like to travel. I asked her why. Next obvious question: why do you not like to travel? And her reason is she has traveled from her native to Karnataka and from Karnataka to her native place. So she kind of got habituated to this life, and now this is the life that she likes, and traveling is not really that exciting. Maybe all of us collectively can change our mind throughout the meeting, but to explain more on her about her role, let's invite the timer of the day, Toastmaster Fathima.
Hi all, very good evening. Yeah, as him mentioned, I don't like to travel at all. All I have traveled is from Tamil Nadu to Karnataka and Karnataka to Tamil Nadu 10 times, and that's all. But I'm not mentioning this just because I'm a timer, but I would like to travel. I would like to time travel. It's like the curiosity to know the future and a longing to correct the past mistakes in my life. That makes me love time travel alone and nothing else. So having said that, I'll be taking the role of timer today. Today we have prepared speeches and table topic speeches plan. So I'm using my kids building blocks. So yeah, I'll be flashing green, yellow and red building blocks at 1.5 and 2 minutes for table topic speeches, and 5, 6 and 7th minute for the prepared speech today. I'll also be flashing the cards for keeping track of the other planned speeches by the role takers as well. So please do keep a watch on me while you're speaking. Thanks, and over to the Toastmasters. Toastmaster Shreya. I'm sorry,
And
over to
rerouting
the
that
general
to me.
evaluator.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
No issues. So the AhCounter of this meeting, he loves bike trips, and he would like to go on probably the most cliched bike trip ever, but with a twist. He would like to take that bike trip from here. Well, it is no surprise to, I guess it is no surprise to everybody that the most cliched bike trip. Would anybody like to take a guess?
Kashmir?
Ladakh.
Close. Yes, the second one was right, Ladakh. But the AhCounter of the day would like to go on a bike trip from Bangalore to Ladakh. Well, some guts you need for that. To explain more about his role and of this dream, I would like to invite the AhCounter of the day, Toastmaster Gurunath.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Good evening, everyone. Yes, this is one of my childhood dream, wherein I would like to travel to Ladakh and experience from Bangalore to all the way till Ladakh by bike trip. And for me, there are times wherein sometimes you don't need to worry about the destination, just that you worry about the journey. But in my case, I actually worry about the destination. So the destination is matters in over here versus the journey that it takes place. Yeah, coming to my role, today I'll be taking AhCounter role. So my role is to count crutch words, repeateders, past fillers, and filler words. So crutch words are like and repeateders are like the words that you use repetitively, and past fillers are like that you use like that I'm using like, so and all. And filler words These are the filler words, and hoping to see you with a good speech from all of you. Over to Toastmaster Hind.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gurunath. So you might have often heard of the saying, the grass is always greener on the other side. What you have is most often not enough valued, or ghar ki murgi dal barabar. There are so many quotes, there are so many sayings which kind of fit this model. And when I was talking to the grammarian of the day, this kind of this understanding became even stronger when I asked her which is her favorite place that she would like to visit. And she said Jaipur. Jaipur is her all-time favorite, and she loves the history over there. I am from a place very near Jaipur, and I don't like Jaipur that much. Then I asked her, beaches or mountains, what does she like? She said, beaches, because she has lived in mountains for most of her life, and she has had enough of them. With that, I would like to invite the grammarian of the day, Toastmaster Harini.
Introduction. So like Hind said, I've been in Uti for like about 18 years or so, and I'm really tired of the hills are very beautiful. I don't acknowledge it because I'm bored and tired of the hills. I always have a dream, and then I like the water more than the hills here. I have not been to beaches that much. I've only been to Chennai, and that's all. So I would love to visit beaches once this thing gets over and go out with friends. So going on the lines of today's topic and the current situation in the world, like traveling, will have that fear of travel right now, isn't it? Most of us would love traveling at this moment, have that fear in our mind. So that fear of travel word is what I'm going to introduce as the word of the day. That is nothing but hodophobia. That is the fear of travel. So as my into how many people use this word in the right context in their speeches, and also I'll be looking for any such as any tense mistakes or if missing prepositions or anything as such. And at the end of the meeting, I will hand over my report to the general evaluator. That much I have. Over to you, Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, Harini, for summing up your role and your travel experiences very quickly. One thing, please do put the word of the day in the chat box, because I'm still not sure. Was it hodophobia? Because that's what I heard. So it would be helpful. Please put that in the chat box, chat window. With that, I would not like to eat any more of our time. Back to the TMoD, Toastmaster Shreya. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hind. Everybody generally has a list of places they want to visit, right? I don't think I know anybody who has a fear of visiting places or a fear of traveling. I don't think anybody has hodophobia. Did I get that right? No?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that's one count there. So, like I said, everybody has some places that they want to visit, be it Kashmir or Iceland or Greece or Japan or some other place. And so did I. For the past at least half a year, whoever has been listening to me, I've been screaming to them that I want to go to this place called Spiti Valley. In fact, if not for this pandemic right now, I would be there right now as I'm speaking. But instead, here I am. So the next person, when I spoke to her and asked her about her travel experiences, she told me one of her best experiences was, in fact, the trip to Spiti Valley. So you can imagine how incredibly jealous I was. That too, she visited this place at the peak of winter against the recommendation of all people who knew her, who told her that she might not even survive the cold. Well, they were not wrong about the cold part. At one point, she says that on one day, the temperature dropped to minus 36 degrees Celsius. That's so cold. Yet, she survived, and she not only survived, she thrived. She said it was one of the best experiences of her life. And to tell us more about that and her role today, let's call the first evaluator, Toastmaster Sreelekha.
Thanks, Shreya, for that wonderful introduction. Yes, that trip has been one of the memorable trip that I've ever been. I will also share a link with you all that you can get to see our memories. It's shared on YouTube. So, getting to my role today, I'm going to evaluate Madhusudan's speech today. He is presenting his L2P2 Connect with Audience speech. It is titled Off the Beaten Track. The intent of the speech is for the speaker to pick the skills to connect with and engage with a group of audience that he or she is not familiar with. So the aspects that I would be looking at today are how comfortable is the speaker with the audience, and how and the ease of presenting an unfamiliar topic to the audience group and keeping them hooked on and engaged with the speech. All the best, Madhusudan. Over to you, Shreya.
Thank you, Sreelekha.
Thank you, Sreelekha. So, our first speaker and the only speaker today here is Madhusudan from the ANZ Toastmasters Club. When I asked him which is the place that he would like to visit right now, given a chance, he said he also wants to go on a road trip with his 3 besties to guess where? No surprises, Leh Ladakh. And I agree, why not? It is such a beautiful place. It would make sense if everybody wants to go there. Today, let's welcome Toastmaster Madhusudan and make him feel right at home here with us. Toastmaster Madhusudan, off the beaten track, Toastmaster Madhusudan.
Thank you, Shreya. The first effect of traveling is it leaves you speechless. The after effect of traveling is it turns you into a storyteller. Says none other than Toastmaster Madhusudan. Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, my dear fellow Toastmasters and guests. Long ago, not very long ago, just a few years back in 2011, on a monsoon morning, I received a call from my friend who was staying in Hubli. He asked me to come to Hubli for a trek along with my 3 other friends. He also told me not to tell them about the trek. I chalked out a plan in such a way that I didn't have to plead them. I decided to buy movie tickets of Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. We watched the movie. Everyone came out of the theater enthusiastically and said, it's time for trip now. This was perhaps the right moment to talk about the trip to Hubli. As they always say, strike when the iron is hot. The moment I said, let's go to Hubli, everyone nodded in agreement. We decided to start for Hubli next day morning and reach by afternoon. While having lunch in famous Basveshwar Khanawali of Hubli, my friend who was staying in Hubli said, guys, let's trek tonight. There was no option other than agreeing to him. We boarded the train at midnight from Dharwad and reached Karanjol station at 4 a.m. in the morning. We decided to start our trek at 5 a.m. So we waited in station for an hour. This trek was over railway tracks. While it was fun walking over the railway tracks in the middle of the forest, through numerous tunnels and small waterfalls here and there. While enjoying the God's creation, we reached our destination of the trek at 9 a.m. If you watched the super hit Hindi movie Chennai Express, one cannot miss the spot where Shah Rukh gets down from train with Deepika right in front of Majestic Falls. We had reached the same spot trekking, whereas in the movie they reached by train. The director of the movie got the idea of this spot only when he saw my pics on Facebook. Have you ever wondered which falls is that? Where is it located? It is the majestic Dudhsagar Falls, right on Karnataka-Goa border, technically in Goa. The gushing flow of water down from the tip of the mountain creates the illusion of flowy milk. That's why this falls is called as Dudhsagar Falls. The railway bridge across the 600-meter tall falls makes us feel as if it is there are two falls, one from the tip of mountain till the railway bridge, other one from railway bridge till the foot of the mountain. We took a few pics on the bridge and decided to go to the viewpoint. We were stunned with the full view of Dudhsagar Falls. We couldn't take our eyes off the Dudhsagar Falls. We were out of the world. We were proven wrong when slowly and extremely steadily train approached the bridge across the Dudhsagar Falls. We froze. This moment, we didn't care about the photograph, the view, or the photograph, the falls, anything else in the world. This view of the Dudhsagar Falls had hypnotized us. Each and every one of you listening to my speech today, I urge you to visit this falls at least once in lifetime. As Toastmaster Madhusudan said, I am sure you all will agree with me today. This trip turned him into a storyteller. I traveled with an open mind, so I enjoyed each and every moment from planning till the end of the trip. Convincing my friends by taking them to a movie, the trek over the railway track, and the engrossing view of the majestic Dudhsagar Falls. From this trip, I learned that traveling open mind helps us welcome the unfamiliarity and willingness to accept the challenges that come with it. Are you ready to travel with an open mind next time? Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Madhusudan, for that great speech. I must say, I am inspired to travel with an open mind, definitely. I think I was already kind of on the edge. Let me see how it goes next time. I know it seems like we have planned this, the both of us, but I want to say this is a total coincidence. It is not like I decided the theme because he was going to speak about travel or vice versa. Just putting it out there. Now, we head on to the next section, the table topics, which is honestly the most fun or could be the most dreaded session, depending on which side of the table you are on. But before we head to that, I have some sort of weird observations to make. A huge part of my childhood travel involved going to temple visits. If we went for a North Indian trip, we visited temples in the north. If we went to a South Indian trip, we visited temples in the south. And I'm sure that this is the case for a lot of us because, we are brought up in a very desi middle class upbringing. And I mean, it helps that a lot of these religious places have such beautiful landscape and settings. So it's like a win-win for everybody, right? Now, can you guys guess the footfall that the Tirupati temple gets in a year? The number of devotees that land there. Just take a guess. Anybody? No? I thought Bhargav would have some stats.
50 million.
50 million. I'd say you're kind of close. Around 30 to 40 million people visit this temple every year. This is by far the most popular religious place in India. Can you guys guess the second most popular one with the most footfall?
Mysore Palace.
I said religious.
Vaishno Devi?
Yes, you're right. It is Vaishno Devi with an average footfall of about 8 million tourists. I should not say tourists, I should say devotees. 8 million devotees per year. This is just insane. It's so incredible, right? But as a kid, I was not really much into travel. I'm not sure why. I mean, well into my teenage years also, I was not a person who was very much interested in traveling. But this next person that is going to come here is definitely not one of these. When he was just 1 year old, he was traveling with his parents in a train. And this guy, such was his zeal to explore that he somehow crawled all the way to the first class coaches. Needless to say, his mom had the best time turning the whole train upside down trying to find this little guy. To tell us more about his experiences, let's call the table topics master of the day, Toastmaster Anurag.
Thanks, Shreya. Now, it is possible for some of us today that the theme instills a bit of sadness. During the lockdown, our questions have ranged from when will I get to travel again? Will I get to ever travel again? And it's finally gotten to the point where we're asking, will I ever get the chance to step outside of my door without a mask? So it seems like the situation is just deteriorating. In fact, with all the news that we've been hearing, some of us may even be developing signs of hodophobia. But we have to remember, however long this lockdown may feel, it will come to an end. And until then, we can share our previous travel experiences with each other and try and keep the spirit alive. But an even more fun activity would be to talk about hypothetical experiences. So I have 8 such experiences for you today, and I want a volunteer to start us off. So can anybody just raise their hand for the first check? Anyone? Kiran? Okay, great. All right, Kiran. Kiran, may I ask if you could please pick a number between
Between, I'm sorry?
any number between 1 and 8.
It's 8.
Oh, 8. Okay, the last one. Okay. So your topic is you want to travel the world, but you don't want to travel by air. You want to experience the seas, and because of that, you decide to travel by a sailboat. Okay. But your relatives are a bit paranoid because of the scare of pirates and other vigilantes at sea. So they're a little hesitant to let you go through with this experience. So to convince them, you need to come up with a plan to combat pirates. What will be the details of your plan?
All right, quite an interesting topic. And probably I'm sure the destination also is the same. And yes, probably I do have a lot of passion for especially travel, and I never knew about the theme. Only once I joined, I didn't come. People are speaking about travel. Oh my God, okay, something close to what I feel. And the first thing what I would do to convince everyone that I would need a proper sailboat to actually kill all the pirates, not kill, probably convince them and take them along to a ride as well, and to reach my destination especially, I would ask them, why don't you guys come? And I would take all my relatives and a few of them whom I don't like especially. Let's do a barter system with them for sure. Please take these guys and please do whatever you want with them, and whatever you feel like giving me, like I would exchange them for a can of fuel or some food materials for sure. And I think the other relatives also would be happy and would think that this guy is ready for anything. Let us just keep quiet and just travel with him. And one thing is, yeah, they would have understood me. And the other thing, yeah, they would also experience a wonderful place in their life. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Oh, Kiran, it's a very well thought out plan, and I hope that works out for you. All right, let's have the next volunteer step up, please. Anyone? Any other volunteer?
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Okay, Vamshi, awesome. Okay, so can you pick a number between 1 and 7?
1 and 7, probably 2.
2. Okay, that's okay. So, all right, you are in an international flight. In this scenario, you have a kid who will not stop crying. Now, all the passengers looking at you as if this is somehow your fault, and they're expecting some action. How do you handle the situation?
Okay. First of all, I don't think I can travel in an international flight. Okay, but given the provided situation, let me think. So, if all the passengers are thinking it's my fault, then probably I'll ask the air hostess or mention the pilot to stop the flight, and I can get down and see. I'm okay, completely doing that, one alternative option is I can ask all the passengers to get down or do like kind of a scenario. Then, especially if the kid is crying, I'm like. One more option is I can provide them, okay, if it's annoying for you people, then probably you can take care of her for some time, like I'll give all the passengers like 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can they can do it on a rotation basis. That could be one possible way. Or why the passengers, I can ask the pilot itself to turn on autopilot mode and then come and console the kid. That could be one more alternative way I can do. From the fault side, that's okay. Even if they think it's my fault, I can't do anything because I can't change other person's view at any point of time, right? So that's where I leave it like that. Okay, back to you, Anurag Murugesan.
Great stuff. Thanks a lot, Vamshi. I think a few of us on this call are parents ourselves, but not me. And I'm sure they could have related to this experience. So great. All right, let's have our next volunteer.
Bhargav raised his hand.
Oh, Bhargav raised your hand. Oh, cool. Bhargav, could you please select any number between 1 and 7 except for 2?
Bhargav, you are on mute.
You there, Bhargav?
You are still on mute. Maybe you could have someone else.
Okay,
Meanwhile,
maybe we'll come back to
try.
Bhargav for the next round. Anybody else? Anybody else would like to volunteer? Come on, guys, the list is much shorter. I can start picking them if you want to go that way.
Hind has raised his hand.
Hind has raised his hand.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see. All right, Hind, cool. Hind, same question. Please select a number between 1 and 7 except for number 2. Number 3?
4.
4? Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. All right, I think you like this one. Okay, you are on a motorcycle trip with the gang. It took years to finally make this happen. It's been 2 days and you've already made memories that will last you a lifetime. It's proper ZNMD feels. Now, out of the blue, guess who appears? Your spouse. And she wants to join you on your trip. Now you have 2 choices. Convince your spouse to go home or convince your friends to let your spouse tag along. How will you convince your friends?
Do I only get to convince my friends?
You can try the other way as well, if you're willing to face the consequences.
I guess Anurag didn't ask me to convince the spouse because that is a lost affair. I would try to convince my friends by, first of all, I'll try to offer them advice, not advice, suggestion, that she might be a good companion. Why don't we try her for as a travel companion for a couple of days? You know, might be good. You never know. How do you judge a book by its cover? Which will quite likely won't work, because these are guy friends I'm talking about. They are judgmental to the max degree. So next thing, I'll offer them money. I'll say I'll give you each, I don't know, 50,000 bucks sounds like a good idea. 50,000 bucks each, because I don't want to fight. I don't want to get into a fight. I don't want to destroy my domestic bliss. So why don't I offer you all money, which if I know my friends enough, some of them will agree to that. To those who will not, I will, what will I do with them? Sam Dam Dand Bhed. Yeah, that's a good strategy to go by. I'd like to, I'll blackmail them. I'll get the secret of theirs and can blackmail them by telling them that I'll tell this to their parents or their spouse, if any. And I must have lived with them in college, and I would have a ton of secrets on them for sure. And I guess eventually one of these three methods will hit, and eventually I will get most, if not all. That's it. Thank you, Anurag. Thank you for the topic. Back to you.
Awesome. Great stuff. And I think you have good powers of persuasion. Okay, let's go on to the next volunteer, please. Just if anybody's raising their hand, just speak once on the audio. I think I'm not able to see it clearly.
I'll do it.
Bhargav? Okay, cool. Awesome. So Bhargav, could you please select a number from, let's say 1 to 7, except for 2 and 4?
3.
You picked number 3. Okay, cool. All right. So this is your topic, Bhargav. You are someone who is obsessed with travel. So obsessed that you repeatedly take PTOs to go on a trip at least once every week. Now your manager is becoming increasingly frustrated with you. You have reached a point where you have no PTOs left. But remember, you are an addict. You have to keep traveling. The only way you can sustain your addiction is to convince your manager that your work can be done from the road. How do you do this?
Okay. So first of all, yeah, you guessed it right. I like to travel. I was a travel freak until this, all this lockdown started. Not like once a week, but at least like I would try to escape at least once in 2 weeks or, once in a month. But well, that thing never happened with my manager, as to like, he never told me that, you took take a lot of leaves and I think you should stop it and all, because my manager also likes to listen to travel stories. As Madhusudan said, traveling makes you a good storyteller. And whenever I travel, the next time when I have a meeting with my manager, I think 70% of the time would be that I would tell him my travel story. So I went there, I did this and I did that and all. So one good thing is that he puts himself in his, youngster wala shoes and youngster wala face. He thinks of it and he would say, okay, you guys are like really, very lucky that you get to travel whenever you want. You don't have any obligations. Just think that you travel and all. So I'll try to, he has this feeling that we guys are lucky. I mean, as bachelors, you don't have any family obligations, right? You just have to think that I want to travel, just book your tickets, pack your bags, just go away. You don't have kids or, wife to, convince. So he has that really small, feeling that, yeah, we are lucky. So I would stress on that. So if at all he gets mad at me or like you're, traveling a lot and all, I'll stress on that and I would try to bring that on to him. So that, see, this is my, age of travel. I think after 3 or 4 years, Indian society, at least even if my parents are not interested, the whole society would get me, hitched to some girl. And I mean, the same problems would start. So I'll say, I'll try to convince him in that respect, because he has a soft corner already in that aspect. And then, yeah, I would try to become a great, a better storyteller. Like yesterday I was reading a trek story, and I was in tears because it was like so good. I mean, the experiences he saw, and it was in the Goichala trek. I mean, his experiences and the way he experienced nature, it was so good. I mean, so you can get very good at storytelling that you can influence people to, turn sides. So I'll try to do that, because as you said, I travel every week. So I would be a very good storyteller. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Very convincing, Bhargav. With that, I think we have reached, we are out of time. So I would like to wrap up the table topic session for today and hand it over to Toastmaster Shreya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anurag, for that really fun and imaginative session. You have come up with such good excuses and reasons. I must say, you have brainstormed a lot on this. Good job there. Every journey that we take, there's no fun if the journey is entirely smooth, right? There has to be something wrong. There has to be something that was twisted that happened. Otherwise, where is the story, right? Similarly, even with our journey here, we would like to figure out what went wrong, what we could do better next time, what are the things that went well. So, not adding any more delay, let me call the general evaluator, Hind, to present the evaluation report.
Thank you, Shreya. We will come to the general evaluation at the end. Let's begin with specific evaluations. For that, I will invite the evaluator of the prepared speaker of today, Toastmaster Sreelekha.
Thank you, Hind. First of all, congratulations, Madhu, for finishing your L2P2 speech. I would love to travel to Dudhsagar someday. So let's look at the few brighter aspects of the speech. The opening line was really good. The way you quoted yourself and then pointed fingers to yourself, says Toastmaster Madhusudan, it instantly got the audience eyes on you. So that was really good. Even though we are in a virtual room, you've made the best use of the screen provided. You tried to use hand gestures as much as possible. Whenever you use numbers, you showed the number, and the part where you described the waterfalls in 2 parts, so you've used hand gestures. That was really good. The clarity and the flow of the speech was really good. It was structured. The entire speech was structured as a storytelling format, so that kept the audience hooked on. And the way you've used humor and a reference to a Bollywood sequence and the daily life events, it helped the audience to connect and relate more to your content. The vocal variety was good, and the complexity of the words used was kept medium. That also again played a good role in keeping the audience connected throughout. And one good thing was the speech was ended with a question, so that leaves an impact on the audience. That leaves a thought on the audience. So few areas that you can improve are one thing I felt was, since the purpose of the speech is to deliver a topic that is not very familiar to you and to the audience group as well, so maybe you could choose a more unfamiliar topic, so that is a bit challenging for you to deliver to the audience. So the topic that you've chosen right now stems from one of your own experiences, so you can do a better choice of topic next time. And one more area is the modulation of the voice. So when you mentioned that you froze, you could have taken a slightly longer pause, and the modulation could have been better. So that will leave a better impact on the audience. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Sreelekha, for your wonderful evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sreelekha. That was a very well organized evaluation, suggestions, and possible scopes of improvement. I would like to piggyback on that and offer a couple of points to your speech, Toastmaster Madhu.
Yeah.
I may be mistaken here, but I think that quote already belongs to someone. So
the quote that I used in the start?
Yes.
No, the quote actually belongs to someone. I have changed it in a whole and then added it as mine. This quote is by Ibn Battuta.
Exactly.
That is totally different from, I have changed it.
All right. Okay. Yeah. That clears that up. Thank you for clarifying that. Other than that, I really like the story structure of your speech. Stories, they attract us more, they engage us more, they engross us more. That was a really good part of it. But when you have a title as vague as Off the Beaten Track, when the story does not allude to your title or does not allude to what it is going to be at the beginning, there is very less clarity. It speaks a lot to your strength that when you began speaking, that you hooked the audience by explaining it to them, because everybody has at one or the other point in their life tried to convince their friends to travel with them and they have not been able to. So your anecdotes were very relatable. But when you are beginning with a title which itself is not giving anything away, try to begin the speech in a manner that kinds of sets the stage for you. Another thing, it was a very good story of you going to a place and then getting mesmerized by it and then suggesting other people about it as well. From a storytelling point of view, I'd say this, that the story didn't have a high ending. We didn't end on a high. We were very excited when you were convincing your friends. We were very excited when suddenly you were dropping bombs on them. Let's track tonight, because what else option do they have? But at the end, we saw the falls and it ended there. Well, that's how maybe blogs end. That's how maybe travel blogs end. But this is a speech where you get to play with the structure of the speech to leave us on a note that you want. And in that aspect, I would suggest you try this. This is something to challenge yourself with. Try to end the speech in such a way that leaves the audience on a high. That's all from my side. Once again, congratulations. Now let's have our timer on the board and let her tell us how horribly we did with the time this time.
Hi all. So today I'll start with the role takers, SAA, Presiding Officer, Toastmasters of the Day, Toastmaster of the Day, Shreya. You were all in time, especially thanks to TMoD, because you always see TMoDs going behind the time while filling the segments, but she has never crossed the segment. I mean, she has never crossed the time in any of the segments to be filled at all. Coming to the prepared speech, Madhu, it's 5 minutes 40 seconds. Table topic speaker 1. I'm not sure of your name. It's 1 minute 10 seconds. Speaker 2, Vamshi, 1 minute 35 seconds. Hind, 1 minute 44 seconds. And Bhargav, I think you didn't notice me at all. It is 2 minutes 33 seconds. And coming to the other role takers, Guru, you were actually 1 minute 1 second. It's still fine. Harini, 1.5 minute. And Hind, you actually crossed the time, and it's not possible for a GE to introduce and also fill the segments between all the role takers in 1 minute. So it is okay. I think if that's going to take time, then it's something which we have to make our agenda accordingly. But otherwise, yeah, it's all fine till now. And we are just lagging by 3 minutes so far. So it's good. Yeah, fine. Over to GE.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fatima, and thank you for giving me a pass for lagging. I am a serial offender in this particular regard. Well, I would like to cover up for any loss that I made earlier. Let's call on our AhCounter of the day, Toastmaster Gurunath.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Firstly, I would like to congratulate all the speakers. You guys have did a tremendous job. You guys have not given any work for me at all. So far, actually, I've taken 4 times this AhCounter, and this is the less number of crutch words, CRPO words that you guys have used. So far, I have noted down. Firstly, and moreover, the main speakers, speaker 1, Madhusudan, and the other major speakers, TMoD, General Evaluator, SAA, and table topic masters and table topic speakers. Not much CRP of words. And to go brief about it, the presiding officer has used 5 crutch words and 1 past fillers, and TMoD used 3 filler words. General Evaluator used 4 crutch words. Timer used 5 crutch words and 1 filler words. Grammarian, I couldn't notice anything because there was a lag in between your speech. Probably after this, I'll get some details about it. And Evaluator, 4 crutch words, pretty good evaluation. And speaker, actually, I couldn't notice all these CRPF words, but only thing is you took in between the 2 long passes. Apart from that, it was well and good. The table topic master actually used 5 crutch words and 5 filler words. I think it is well used between interactive session as versus alone speech. Like assume you want to introduce everything, call upon the table topics and introduce the speakers and all. So I think it is quite general to have these 5 the crutch words and filler words. The table topic speaker number 1 has not used any CRPF words. Table topic speaker 2, 10 crutch words and 2 filler words. Table topic speaker 3, 2 repeating words. And table topic number speaker 4 actually using quite a lot of filler words and cut words, nine filler words and 8 cut words. This is all I have. Over to Toastmaster team.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gurunath. Well, the club is successful when we completely get the AhCounter out of the job. Let's aim for that. Let's keep aiming for that. But for now, let's introduce Toastmaster. Let's call back our grammarian of the day, Toastmaster Harini.
Thank you, Hind. So before I begin with today's evaluation, I just wanted to make one point clear that when I was a grammarian in the last year or for the past 3-4 months back or something, I noticed that there were a lot of grammatical errors. I don't know if it's just that what I'm feeling or what all of you are feeling it together. Today's meeting, I could see that there were very less grammatical errors compared to those of the previous meetings. For example, the basic usages of grammar were good. There is a borderline between the best use of grammar and the proper usage of grammar. So I felt that in today's meeting, we actually used the proper grammar today. So there were very less grammatical errors noticed. I just like to, the word of the day was used only twice today. And some of the very good words or very good phrases used were gushing flow, illusion, engrossing, insane, hypothetical, paranoid, combat. These were the very good words used today. Apart from that, since I did not notice a lot of grammatical errors today, I would like to mention one tip in which all of us could improve our grammar. So that is, vocabulary is important when it comes to speaking or writing good English, but I also think that vocabulary is the second stage. So across the stage where we are able to frame proper sentences without it leaving in the middle. Like, for example, I start and topic. So I'm like, it was, and then I just switched to another topic. So if we first come out of this situation, and then we could improve on our vocabulary and we could introduce the, the best words into our sentences. So that is one tip which I have from my end. Otherwise, I did not notice much of the errors today. The words used were very good, and most of it were used by our TMoD Anurag and our speaker of today, that is Madhusudan. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you. Over to you, Hind.
If anybody is surprised, minor correction there. TTM Anurag.
I'm sorry. Long time since I came in.
No issues. You are a bit rusty. No issues. Thank you, Toastmaster Harini. Thank you, the tag team, for evaluation, and thank you, Sreelekha, for the comprehensive evaluation of our prepared speaker. So now that we're done with the specific evaluations, time for general evaluation, right? We, as usual, began the meeting late. That's no more surprising, actually. And I'm thankful of people who showed up early, who showed up before 4 p.m. But we have got to do something about it, at least the role takers. Today also we ended up starting the meeting at 4:04. 4 minutes we were already late, and I think we are running almost that much late even now. Yeah. So I'm not sure what's the solution for that. It's just that we have to keep that in mind, that this is not a meeting like a meeting of like the kind of meeting that we attend in office. This is a little different. If you want, if all of us agree on this, we can schedule this meeting for 3:55 p.m. and then start at 4 p.m. itself. So that's the thing that still leaves room for improvement. Overall, the meeting, I think Toastmaster Gurunath and Toastmaster Harini already touched upon this point. We have been improving, and that when you take up a role after a long amount of time, that's when it is clear to you. Large amount of time. Sorry, Harini. That's when it is clear to you And I have not been general evaluator for quite some time. So today, when I was actually trying to look at the meeting from a very objective point of view and looking at every table topic speaker for their speech, what that they were delivering, I could see that we have improved, and there is some very definitive marks of improvement. Like Gurunath said, that we have used very less CRPFs. And I heard the TMoD's whole speech, essays, beginning, TTM's introduction, and then the whole session. Even the table topic speakers themselves are repeat table topic speakers like Vamshi. If you go back and look at their speeches from way back, uh, beginning of this year, you'd see that there has been a lot of improvement. Now, there can be two reasons of that. One, we are way too comfortable in front of a screen. Possible. There are no people that we are facing. This is the comfortable chair, or I hope everybody is sitting in a comfortable chair. So it is possible that that is providing us some comfort that will not be there when you stand in front of people. But I would like to believe that it is not just that we in actuality are improving, and that is an amazing thing. Right from the start, essay, as I said, essay, TMoD, TTM, speakers, evaluators, all of you did an amazing job, and I would really like to commend you on that. But no evaluation is complete without some critical feedback. So for table topic speakers, what I would like to suggest, and this is a general suggestion, take it or think about it, food for thought. Try to end your speech without saying, yeah, that's all from my side. Because even if you have a great speech, even if you have a great table topic speech of 2 minutes, if you end with, that's all from my side, the lasting taste is very important. People say the first impressions are the most important. The lasting taste is equally important. And the same I would like to tell every evaluator as well. When you evaluate, whenever you are jotting down your points and thinking of a beginning, and also think of an end. This is where I'm going to end. This is how I'm going to end, and stop there. That's all from my side. Back to the TMoD. Thank you.
Thank you, Hind and team, for this very insightful evaluation. I feel like everybody, you guys were saying that we have become better. I could clearly see that the evaluations themselves have become so much better than before. Now let's do our voting right now. Let's see who are the best of everything. The links are on the right side on the chat box. Please go ahead and place your votes for the best table topic speaker, evaluator, and best speaker. A few seconds of pause, maybe. Is everybody done? Hind, should we continue or should we wait? Okay, Hind gives the thumbs up, so we shall go for it. Okay, first let's discuss about the table topics. Who do you guys think Any guesses? People are on mute.
Oh, okay. Team Vamshi.
Team Vamshi, okay.
I think Bhargav.
Oh,
Okay, are we going to go on a round circle now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the winner is Bhargav for the best table topics. Congratulations, Bhargav. Evaluator, any guesses here?
Sreelekha.
Sreelekha from my side too.
Okay, the evaluator, it's actually shared between two people, Hind and Sreelekha. Both of them have won best evaluator. So congratulations to both of you. Yay. And the speaker, again, I'm going to ask the same question. Any guesses here? None? Okay. I thought someone said something. All right. The speaker, unfortunately, I'm going to say myself because I don't know how else to do that. So I guess congratulations to me.
You were great, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. All right. So we have almost come to the end of another meeting. But before I retire for the day, I want to leave you guys with a thought. Humans are, we know that we are obsessed with going to new places. We are obsessed with exploring. But there's another aspect to this. We do not give value to what we already have. Where we go, we leave behind a trail of destruction. An example that I can give you is Leh Ladakh. In the peak season in Leh Ladakh right now, I mean, it's a very popular place these days, right? Right now, not right now, sorry. In the peak season, there are about 18 to 20 tons of garbage that is created there every day. And mind you, a ton is 100 kgs. So this is the amount of garbage that is created there every day. And this is a small, self-sufficient kind of town. It does not fill with very less people. It does not have the kind of capability to handle such amount of garbage. So you know where the garbage goes. It travels thousands and thousands of kilometers to be processed properly in maybe a city like Srinagar or even more down south. This also is a huge waste of energy, and this is assuming that all the garbage that we throw there actually lands up in a recycling center, which is not even half of it lands up there. So what are we doing? Such a beautiful place, we are just destroying it. And it's not just about looks. After one point, what happens is the amount of plastic that gets settled in the ice is so much that it increases the heat in the ice or the temperature of the ice, which leads to melting of this ice. And this ice, even though it's water, it's polluted water at its source. This is something very serious that I feel. I mean, I implore each one of you. I know it's difficult to be zero waste at your house. You have so many things, you have a daily life going on. But I implore each one of you, when you go on a trip somewhere, please try your best to be zero waste. Use as much biodegradable items for food as possible. And even if there is nothing available and you have to go for some processed plastic, then please carry your own dustbin with you. It is plastic. There is no worry. It is not going to disintegrate for 400 years at least. So you can happily carry it back with you and dispose it in a place that can handle it properly. That is a message I want to give from my side. I had loads of fun being the TMoD today. I hope you guys had a fun session too. To wrap up, let me hand the mantle back to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Abhijit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shreya, for having such an interesting theme for the session and then just pulling it so well with great execution. I think everybody enjoyed with sharing of travel stories and with this very nice message to top it off. So thanks a lot. I have a few things that I want to announce before closing the meeting today. The first one is please sign up for Car1 if you have not really paid attention. Toastmaster Sneha has sent that flyer a couple of times at least on our Toastmaster Bangalore alias. So please take a look. It's going to happen on 7th, which is Sunday, and it's a Division K meeting, and there are a lot of fun things that are planned. If you just want to join in just to see how things are and for a part of it as well, that's also fine. just please go ahead and register yourself and just take a look at how really excellent speakers are going to be there, and you might definitely learn something there. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to let everybody know is about our plan for a rendezvous meeting with the Arista HQ Club. So many of you already know that Arista HQ Club, Toastmaster Club exists, and we just floated an email, and it seemed like initially they are on board. We still need to figure out the logistics because, of course, Pacific time, it's going to be almost like 12 and a half hour gap. So it's going to be either our evening or theirs or vice versa. So that's something we need to plan for, but maybe sometime in July is what we might be shooting for. So just stay tuned on that. The next thing is about officers election. So we are going to come to an end of the current tenure of the officers that started in January, and actually they've been continuing since the club started in October, and this term is going to end at the end of June. So maybe in a couple of weeks' time, we'll decide on a meeting time where we'll actually schedule the officers election. But most importantly, we'll soon send out a spreadsheet with all the officer roles that need to be filled. And please go ahead and put in your nomination if you want to be an officer. It's definitely very fulfilling, as maybe we can have a couple of minutes for all officers to maybe tell their feedback, what they learned, what they thought about it, so that others can actually get a glimpse of what it is on the other side, how it can help you grow, and while at the same time being responsible for this very club that we are really trying to nurture here. So stay tuned on that. We need to conduct those elections before the end of the month, so it will happen in the next meeting. So that's the other thing. Please sign up. If you have some questions about what the officer role entails before this meeting itself, feel free to talk to one of the officers and they'll let you know about it. Okay. The last thing is yet another plea, sign up for speeches and roles. We already have actually, we have done a pretty good job at signing up for speeches, except for 19th June, which is 2 weeks from now. We have speeches scheduled until 3rd of July. So 3 weeks out of the next 4 weeks are taken care of, but we can always have a second speech if you're interested, or you can always schedule yourself for sometime later into the future. So please think about it and plan for that. Same is the case with the other roles. Please sign up. We are looking for TMoD for next meeting. If you are willing, please go ahead and sign up on the roles picker sheet after the end of this meeting, and you get exactly 1 week to prepare for. Okay, that's pretty much from my side. I just want to quickly go to our guests for some feedback. Toastmaster Madhu, how did you feel?
It was an amazing experience to come here for the second time. Thank you for having me. I mean, your club, I mean, if I've heard it, your sessions are in 20s, I think 20 sessions odd. Yours is a new club, but the maturity that I saw than other clubs which I have attended, who were having 50th meeting or their 60th meeting, I see your club is far more matured than that. So wonderful. I mean, amazing experience I've had today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for coming over. It just so happens that you've always seems like your club is always doubly booked and you're looking for slots outside, and it seems like we are underbooked most of the time. So I think it's been working well as of now. I look forward to having you here more in some capacity or the other. So sure. Thanks for coming over.
Till the time these online meetings are there, I think for sure we'll be taking up if you need. I mean, if you want us to take up the role or speech, I mean, we are always there.
Sure. Thank you. Toastmaster Kiran, anything you want to share with us about the experience?
All right. First of all, thank you so much for having me. Big thanks to Toastmaster Madhu and the entire Arista team. It was a wonderful learning experience, and how you guys complement each other and how you guys involve in a learning mindset and growth mindset. That's very commendable. And that's what I would take over from today's session. And thank you so much for having me.
Well, same thing. Thank you so much for coming over. Feel free to join in whenever you feel you have some time and you would like to come back to this club. All right, with that, that's a wrap. Thank you, everybody. Let's just go back and sign up for more roles. That's the motto. And until we can't travel, at least we can, come here and talk. So with that, have a great weekend, and we'll talk next week.
Thank you.